What secrets lie buried beneath the soil of Britain, hidden for centuries beneath the weight of history? From brutal Roman sieges to forgotten plague pits and Viking raids, recent archaeological discoveries are rewriting the stories we thought we knew. How did ancient Britons withstand the might of Rome, survive the horrors of the Black Death, and rise from the ashes of Viking devastation? Join us as we uncover the forgotten mysteries that shape the very heart of Britain. Are you ready for the truth? We often imagine the Roman Empire as an unstoppable force, effortlessly expanding its reach across Europe. But the history of the Roman conquest of Britain reveals a different story, a tale of fierce resistance, brutal conflict, and the length to which the Romans went to secure control. One such chapter unfolded at the hill fort of Burnswark in Scotland, where archaeologists recently uncovered the chilling remnants of a forgotten siege. This discovery has transformed our understanding of the Roman invasion of northern Britain, revealing the strategic might and ruthless tactics employed by the Romans to break the will of their enemies. Burnswark, an Iron Age hill fort, stood as a defiant stronghold against the Roman advance. Positioned on a high vantage point, it was once the home of a local tribe who fortified the summit, determined to resist the Roman legions. For years, historians and archaeologists believed that the two large Roman camps surrounding the hill were nothing more than training grounds for soldiers. However, recent excavations have uncovered compelling evidence that these camps were, in fact, siege fortifications built to crush the native resistance. The discovery of Roman ballista stones and lead sling bullets scattered across the landscape paints a grim picture of the battle that unfolded here. A battle in which the Romans unleashed their full military might on the hill fort. The Roman war machine was a terrifying spectacle. At Burnswark, the Roman forces were equipped with powerful siege engines, capable of launching stone missiles with deadly precision. These ballista stones, made of local sandstone, were designed to inflict maximum damage on the defenders, shattering walls and crushing bones. Alongside them, Roman slingers rained down a hail of lead bullets, traveling at speeds of up to 40 meters per second, fast enough to pierce armor and flesh alike. The sheer quantity of these deadly projectiles suggests that the Romans were not merely trying to dislodge the defenders, they were attempting to annihilate them. The hill fort, once a symbol of defiance, became a killing ground, as the Romans systematically overwhelmed the native forces. As archaeologists delved deeper into the Roman camps, they uncovered even more startling evidence of the siege's brutality. In one area of the site, they discovered a massive cache of over 160 lead sling bullets, still buried in the ground where they had fallen. This discovery is the largest collection of Roman sling bullets ever found in Britain, and serves as a stark reminder of the relentless assault that the defenders faced. But these bullets were not just weapons, they were also psychological tools of war. Some of the sling bullets were designed to whistle as they flew through the air, creating a terrifying sound meant to demoralize the enemy. Imagine the fear and panic that would have gripped the defenders as hundreds of these whistling missiles hurtled toward them, signaling the imminent death that awaited. The siege of Burnswark was not an isolated incident. It was part of a larger Roman campaign to conquer the northern tribes of Britain, a campaign that had been marked by fierce resistance and brutal reprisals. For the Romans, the conquest of Britain was not just about expanding their empire, it was about establishing control over a land that had proven to be far more difficult to subdue than they had anticipated. As the Forgotten Siege reveals Britain's first Roman battlefield, a much later, yet equally harrowing event unfolded at Thornton Abbey, where the grim reality of the Black Death left an indelible mark on the local community. In the heart of the English countryside lies Thornton Abbey, a site steeped in history and mystery. Founded in the 12th century, this once wealthy monastery was a center of religious life for centuries. But beneath its tranquil exterior, archaeologists have uncovered a shocking and gruesome secret, a mass grave dating back to the time of the Black Death. This discovery offers a rare glimpse into the devastating impact of the plague on rural communities, shedding light on how ordinary people struggled to survive one of the deadliest pandemics in history. The grave, located just outside the abbey walls, contains the remains of 48 individuals, 27 of whom were children. This tragic find is a stark reminder of the toll that the plague took on medieval England, particularly in small isolated communities like those surrounding Thornton Abbey. Unlike the well-documented plague pits of London, this mass burial in rural Lincolnshire is a unique find, one that challenges our understanding of how the Black Death affected areas outside the major cities. The bodies, laid out in neat rows, suggest that even in the face of overwhelming death, the survivors tried to maintain some semblance of dignity and respect for the dead. The presence of so many children in the grave is particularly poignant. In a time when families were already struggling to survive, the loss of the youngest members of the community would have been especially devastating. The fact that these children were buried alongside adults rather than in separate graves highlights the indiscriminate nature of the plague. No one was spared, regardless of age or status. The discovery of this mass grave raises haunting questions about the lives of those who lived and died here. How did they cope with the terror of the plague? What hopes and prayers did they cling to as the disease ravaged their community? One of the most intriguing finds in the grave is a small amulet in the shape of a T, which was discovered near the remains of one of the victims. This amulet, likely believed to have protective or healing powers, offers a glimpse into the spiritual beliefs of the time. In a world where medicine was primitive and the cause of the plague was unknown, people turned to faith and superstition in a desperate attempt to ward off the disease. But as the mass grave at Thornton Abbey shows, even the most fervent prayers were no match for the Black Death. The presence of the amulet is a reminder of the fear and helplessness that gripped the medieval world as the plague swept across Europe. The discovery of this plague pit is not just a grim reminder of the past, it also provides valuable insights into how the Black Death affected rural communities. By analyzing the remains and the objects found in the grave, archaeologists hope to learn more about the lives of the people who lived in this area, as well as how they dealt with the catastrophic events that unfolded around them. This information could help historians better understand the social and economic impact of the plague, particularly in regions that have been largely overlooked by previous studies. While the grim discovery at Thornton Abbey reveals the devastating impact of the plague on medieval Britain, another historical catastrophe unfolded on the shores of Lindisfarne, where a different menace threatened to erase a sacred stronghold of Christianity. Lindisfarne, also known as Holy Island, is a place where history and legend collide. This tidal island off the northeast coast of England was once the heart of Christian Britain, home to a monastery that played a pivotal role in the spread of Christianity throughout the land. But Lindisfarne is also known for something far darker, the Viking raid of 793 AD, an event so brutal that it sent shockwaves across medieval Europe and marked the beginning of the Viking Age. Founded in 635 AD by the monk Aidan, the monastery at Lindisfarne became one of the most important religious centers in Britain. It was here that some of the most revered saints of the time lived and worked, including Saint Cuthbert, whose miracles and holy deeds earned him a devoted following. The monks of Lindisfarne were known for their piety and their role in converting the pagan Anglo-Saxon kings to Christianity. But their peaceful existence was shattered on a fateful day in 793 AD when the Vikings descended upon the island. The attack on Lindisfarne was unlike anything the Christian world had ever seen. The Vikings, armed with swords and axes, stormed the monastery, killing or enslaving the monks and looting the holy relics. The devastation was so complete that some believed it was a sign of God's wrath. Alcuin, a scholar and priest of the time, wrote that the attack was a punishment for the sins of the monks, who he believed had strayed from their religious duties. Whether divine retribution or not, the Viking raid on Lindisfarne marked the beginning of a new era of fear and uncertainty in Britain. Despite the horror of the Viking attack, the monastery at Lindisfarne did not disappear entirely. In the years that followed, the monks returned to the island and continued their work, albeit in a diminished capacity. Artifacts found on the island, such as the beautifully illuminated Lindisfarne Gospels, suggest that the monks maintained some level of wealth and influence even after the raid. These treasures, created with painstaking care and devotion, are a testament to the resilience of the Christian community at Lindisfarne, who refused to be broken by the Viking onslaught. The island of South Ronaldsay holds one of Scotland's most iconic Iron Age monuments known as Brochs. These dry stone towers, which could reach up to 13 meters in height, were believed to be the homes for elite tribal families, acting as both defensive forts and symbols of power. Despite their grandeur, most Brochs were mysteriously abandoned by the 4th century AD. Recent excavations at one Broch, known as Broch, had revealed a new purpose for these structures after their abandonment. Over time, these once imposing towers were dismantled, with the stones piled up inside to create mounds. During a decade of excavations, archaeologists discovered strange and intriguing artifacts within the Broch, including human remains, whale bones, and red deer antlers. These items appeared to be a part of an ancient ritual, possibly marking the decommissioning of the Broch. The human jawbone found next to the whalebone suggests a person of significant status, perhaps a member of the Iron Age elite, was involved in this ritual. The use of these remains, along with the animal bones, indicates a possible act of closure, turning the Broch from a towering structure into an ancestral mound. This discovery provides insight into the spiritual beliefs of the Iron Age people in Scotland. It suggests that the Brochs, once symbols of power, were later transformed into sacred sites, deeply connected to the community's ritual practices. Thanks for joining us in this journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating archaeological insights and historical revelations. And we'll see you next time.